welcome to episode 2 of the illustrious Akupara Games podcast, the Akupara Podcast. Today, I am joined by another member of the Relic Hunters Zero remix team, Ashley. Ashley, why don't you introduce yourself to the folks at home?
Hello, guys. My name is Ashley. I've been on and off a part of Akupara for quite a few years now. I consider myself a concept artist, focuses mostly on creatures and characters, but I've worked on all sorts of really crazy games, and a lot of them happen to be Akupara. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and so if you are enjoying Relic Hunters Zero Remix, which is out now on the Nintendo Switch, you will have seen a lot of Ashley's artwork. Ashley, you worked on the menus, the splash art for the character skins, the sprites themselves. It feels like there wasn't a lot of art in the finished product of Relic Hunters Zero Remix that you didn't touch on.
Yes, definitely. There was more that I wish I could have gotten to, in the time that we were given, but, it was fun doing what I got to do, so.
Yeah, and the response has been really great, obviously. There's been a lot of praise for, honestly, the new menus. People seem to enjoy the new menus, I have noticed. Which, I don't know if it's just because, the first thing that they see or whatever.
That's true.
I thought it was going to be like the skins. Well, it is also the skins. Your Ace splash art with him kind of folding his arms and that smug look has made a great impression on the Relic Hunters Discord.
Awesome.
Yeah. But so, in our interest of getting to the deep insights to indie game development, actually sitting down for another lovely interview. So let's start at the beginning. The first time that you sat down to start working on Relic Hunters Zero, what was your immediate thought, artistically? Did you know right off the bat what you would be aiming for in terms of style or aesthetic, or, did it take some experimentation to get into a good spot?
I'd say as soon as I was approached with this project and I got to do a little research into it, I'm always a fan of this kind of new, 8-bit art style that's come out. And I definitely thought this game already had a solid, colorful, energetic look to it, that just drove the gameplay. So I was like, this is going to be easy. I'm just going to, piggyback off this and see what I can do to just help this game along, because, it already had a very recognizable look that stood out. So
yeah, I definitely feel like that is that's kind of one of the underlying features to the Relic Hunters Zero experience, right? The you're kind of doing modern gameplay, but in a very retro aesthetic, right? You wouldn't be able to, we talked about this a bit on the soundtrack podcast, you wouldn't really be able to put the soundtrack of the modern remix into an NES console, but it is made with the sound of an NES console, or an SNES console. And I feel like artistically it's the same sort of thing. You have a lot of enemies on screen and bullets and laser beams.
Everything going crazy and pixels everywhere.
And you wouldn't be able to render all that stuff if I was playing this on the Sega Genesis.
Oh, yeah.
But it looks like it's a game from that era because of the pixel art style.
So it definitely touches back on, I guess, everyone who was in that era. It kind of just, it sort of recalls that kind of feeling.
Right. Is that a comfortable sort of feel? Are you a nostalgia gamer? Are you a 90s kid?
Yes, definitely. Shovel Knights, all sorts of, pixel games.
Yeah, that's fair. Shovel Knight was a big one that came out a couple of years ago. That has on it a very similar sort of look, big head, small body, that kind of chibi, Though I feel like Relic Hunters Zero, it's all about the eyebrows. I'm always
oh my gosh, yes, these are the largest eyebrows I've ever drawn on a character.
Okay, so on a technical level, what are the programs? What kind of equipment are you using to make the art?
Oh yes, definitely. So I originally had started, my artistic college art career on a 4x5 tiny little tablet. But right now I have a Cintiq 22 HD, And I have a secondary monitor that I just kind of look over for references, have any professional chats going on over there, anything that needs secondary attention while I'm
Right.
drawing.
And so and the Cintiq is one of those big, like, it's
Yes.
effectively a monitor, but is also a touch screen that you can kind of
Yes.
like draw on as a
Yeah, I would say it's a step up from, the small tablets that you have on the side
right,
because
right.
you're actually drawing directly. You can
Mm-hmm.
see what you're drawing on, which is always nice.
And when you're doing the work, do you draw into, I don't even know. God, I'm so unskilled.
Totally fine.
Photoshop? No, right? No way.
Yes.
That's right.
Yep,
Wait,
you got
really?
it. Mhm.
Fair enough. I was like, Illustrator? Because I see Adobe Illustrator files, and I'm like, boy, that is a program I'd like to learn
That is another
someday
program
in the
for,
future.
yeah. For this one, yeah, Photoshop would definitely have been a lot easier for me, since I could set the brushes to pencil, which allows you to do pixel art a lot
Mm-hmm.
easier. I don't think I've ever done pixel art in Illustrator, so
Oh,
not
that makes sense. Yeah. So, for the folks at home, I feel like there's a technical distinction that I'm about to just butcher here.
it's
Okay.
totally fine.
So, something about the Illustrator program is that it has like the vector files, so
Yes.
it doesn't have pixels, right? When
No.
you're working in Photoshop, you are telling your program, right? Like, you're telling the art that
Yes.
this is a single unit of the image, and that unit is filled with this color, right?
Yes.
And it might be one of 100,000 pixels or whatever it
Hmm.
is. But in Illustrator, you just kind of have the image and it'll scale up to whatever resolution you need without any kind of like distortion or effects. I have no idea
Yeah.
how that works. I have zero conception for how that
It's
possibly
all done mathematically. It blows my mind. But those are good for like logos and stuff that, you need size for every
mm-hmm.
tiny little or huge thing. So
Yeah, like sometimes you'll need, you need 1080 by 1080. Sometimes you need to like read at 32 by 32 or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
that definitely makes a lot of sense. But obviously, if you're working in Photoshop and you need to get that, or if you're working for Relic Hunters Zero and you need to get that pixelized effect, it makes a
Hmm.
lot of sense that you would pick up,
Yes.
everyone's favorite photo altering service. I don't know. I use a ton of Photoshop, but I don't think I'm very good at this. It'll happen
That's
pretty
totally
commonly. Listen, I don't want to like tell on myself a little bit here. David, if you're listening, I'm really good at my job and I never am bad or screw up at all. But like
I
there are
want to see
definitely
somebody
times,
art.
yeah, there are definitely some times when I like sit down to use Photoshop and I'm just like, I would just really like to make a square. Now, how do I make a square? And I'll just like end up like jury rigging, like you take the pencil and you draw a
Oh
really
my
not
gosh.
straight line, but then you'd be like, okay, well, what if I take that and I make it and I straighten it up a little bit? It's really terrible. The worst part is that I have friends, and my wife is very good at Photoshop, and so sometimes I'll be like, "Hey, how do you mask something?" And she'll walk over and she'll spend like 5 minutes explaining it, and
Right.
for me it'll be like 5 minutes has just passed, and I'll be like,
I
what? What
didn't.
was that? Masking?
Yeah.
Did you explain just now? Because only like 3 seconds has passed for me. Um, but so did you work on, so for both the splash art, right, which is the big image that you'll see in the character select screen
Yes.
of Relic Hunter Zero, that was a Photoshop document, right? But what about
Yes.
for the sprites that go into the games themselves that are animated, right? Like the new Jimmy sprite has that like
Hmm.
hair flop. People are also talking about the hair flop.
Yay!
Just-
I actually love doing their hair, so
I feel like I'm like a news anchor telling you like people are talking about
hey,
Jimmy's
that's
new hair
awesome
flop.
because
More than
I
11.
I do not know any of this, so that's great to know. But yeah, so Photoshop actually has a timeline feature that allows me to animate. So I basically just took, the old sprites and I sort of just ran through the timeline and reskinned each, I guess you would say, frame.
Mm.
And I just prefer Photoshop also because it just feels more organic for me. Uh, Illustrator, I would say, is more like, moving images around or like points and pixels and or anchor points, I guess. And Photoshop is just actually just drawing, just straight up drawing. So yeah, so that's what I basically did for the animation portion of it, and it allowed me to play them and tweak anything that I saw kind of weird. So like the hair bounces weren't perfect at first, definitely.
Well, yeah, because, you know, obviously you want that high level of fidelity when the game was playing at 60 frames per second or whatever else.
Oh, yes.
And so it's important that the animation does look correct and that, you know, I don't know. I want to use like animation terms here, but I don't have a great like keyframes to use that. You want to make sure your keyframes are really on point, everybody.
Yeah, there you go. And it has to definitely loop, because if they end and start on something different, you will see it in game. It will stand out like a sore thumb.
So you literally like painted over the original art from, to, you know, like in order to sort of derive the remix updates, because that's really interesting, right? Like something that I thought was really neat when I was playing is how much I felt like the new skins were kind of a new, you know, like it was still Pinky, right. It was still Jimmy, it was still Red or whatever.
That's awesome.
But it is literally constructed on the exact same bones, right?
Definitely, yeah. I loved the art style already, and the characters were just so memorable that I kind of wanted them to shine through what I was just basically polishing up, just to give it a new life for a remix. And so yeah, I basically bumped up saturations, like the colors, made them more bright, and just added more detail where I thought, you know, might be fun to add to the characters and help inform people, you know, what is this character like? Is this character more edgy? You know, what is their facial features?
Who are the edgy characters? Yeah. In Relic Hunters Zero? That's what I want to know. I need to play the edgelords.
Yeah. I'd say Red.
Yeah, that's true. Red is honestly very, very edgy. So we term the skins, right? There are the classic skins, and then there are the remix skins, right? But the remix skins are also really informed by the new version of Relic Hunters that's coming out, Relic Hunters Legend. How much did you kind of interact with the greater Relic Hunters universe in order to sort of source the images that you were going to end up making for remix?
As far as for like inspiration for everything, I'd say I went back to the Kickstarter promo. I thought that definitely informed a lot on the characters' personalities and how they interacted with each other. I looked at the comics that they have available. Those were also really fun. I definitely just dove through those and just sort of tried to get their personalities from that. That way I could, you know, update the skins to better reflect them.
Yeah, that makes sense. So where did you look for inspiration on like the different characters' personalities? Were you looking at like maybe to phrase that a little bit differently, right? Like if you were to cast the Relic Hunters Zero remix movie, who are like the actors that you would want to pick up to be like, oh man, this person is a total Jimmy?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
That might be a tough question. Feel free.
That's a tough question.
Buddy,
yeah,
stop
asking I have to
me.
think about all the characters.
Listen, all I know is that I think Ben Affleck would do really great as Jimmy. I think he brings gravitas and is an Oscar-winning role.
I mean, I could see. Would Daniel Radcliffe be a good character? Like, I don't know if their accents would inform.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually think about that. Well, so we know that Legends is going to be voice acted, but I haven't heard any of the voice acting yet because the last time that I played Legends, the voice acting wasn't implemented.
Right. Well, I just love watching that promo trailer from Kickstarter because it already like brings them to life. So
yeah. Because Jimmy's thing for folks at home who don't know the deep intricacies of the Relic Hunters lore, which I ended up learning over the course of preparing for the release of the game and everything like that. Jimmy is like kind of the poster child in a way, right? Like he's in a lot of the promo art. He is one of the first two characters that are unlocked, and that gives him kind of this like Luke Skywalker vibe. Like you would think he's kind of the protagonist. He's the front like main character. That is not true. That character is Pinky, who has the big, like the big fistigons. She's the captain of the Space Heart. She's the one who's like leading everybody around. Jimmy is like he just hates the Dukins.
Jimmy's the anti-hero.
Yeah, he's the anti-hero. He's just like a total badass. I think on the wiki it says like he's the most dangerous like shot in the galaxy, and he really only joined up with the other Relic Hunters because like it let him, it let him kill more Dukins or whatever. So, yeah, Jimmy is hardcore. Okay.
Yes, which I would have thought was Red, but yeah. Because Red's one of my favorites.
Red has that kind of Green Ranger vibe, in the sense that Red was a villain or something in the backstory, and they fought or whatever. But now like Red is like on the same side as the other Relic Hunters.
Yeah, it's like I guess
she is also. She is also riding the edge, as we say, compared to some of the more wholesome characters, like Boo, who's just come on.
So cool.
He's such a thick boy.
Yeah, he is. And Raph, definitely. I had learned that Raph had gone through a gender switch, which was really cool. And I love that history about them. And I love like redesigning them too, as far as like taking the hair and making it more bouncy and bumping up their colors to, make them more alive.
That definitely made a big difference is like, a much brighter blue for Raph's hair, for instance, right? Or even Jimmy's hair is brighter in his remixed skin. Now, and you overdid the whole, the whole game in terms of sort of that color palette and branding. Like when you approach that color palette, what was on your mind?
Yeah, that was definitely something that I wanted to play with. So I had thought in the beginning to maybe look back at the older like 8-bit kind of palettes, but I thought they were a little bit too subdued for this kind of game, like this crazy, chaotic, super colorful game. So I said, why not just bump up the colors even more? Like just bring up the hype, because like the music already is like up on par with that. So I kind of thought of like, remix. It made me think of like music, and then that translated to like the digital space, computers, sound visualizers, and vaporwave. If you know what that is, it's just sort of like an aesthetic that's very lots of hot pinks and purples and blues.
Oh, listen, I have put quite a few views on that one Vaporwave Macintosh Plus video. Yeah. I mean, I guess anybody who knows Akupara Games knows about Vaporwave just because like it's sort of our brand. Let's be
honest, yeah. But I wanted to put Akupara in it also, so I was like, take those purples and those pinks and let's just like bump it up.
Yeah, I mean, it is really different because like so right now the remix update will be coming to Steam at a future date. We haven't lined or announced anything on the Steam side, but it is coming to Steam, and it's coming to Steam absolutely free. But if you were to load up the current Steam version of Relic Hunters, right, Relic Hunters Zero, and then load up the Switch version, which is out now, you would see that like it almost has kind of an opposite palette at the moment, right? Because the base version on Steam is very yellow and orange, whereas the new version has that blue with like the little thingies in the background. Yeah, the blue and the yellow. So I think that really comes across.
Awesome, and I'm glad that it's being accepted, because I was like, I'm going for Iber, and I'm so sorry for people with bright screens.
So talking about acceptance, how did the team, like when you were in the middle of production, right, in the middle of development, and you were sitting down for these team meetings, Kat sits down, she blows everybody's mind with her crazy spicy meters. Shout out to the last episode of the Akupara podcast. You come to the table and you start showing people stuff. How did people react to your art?
Awesome. I'd say very well. Everyone was excited to see these new takes on like these already fun characters, and they were just super open to the small like stylistic tweaks that I added. So yeah, like take a look at Pinky or Raph's hair. I sort of rounded stuff off. I wanted to make these changes, but again, like I wanted the old art to shine through. So
that, I now that you mention it, I don't think I ever really thought about it or noticed it before, but the rounding of the hair is a big thing, because one of the things that defines the classic skins is that they're very like spiky hair, right? It's like I'm in an episode of Dragon Ball Z or something, right? Or maybe Yu-Gi-Oh would be a better. I guess Yu-Gi-Oh has
Definitely
spikier hair. But in the remix update, it feels like, everyone's hair got, first of all, more bouncy, but second of all, a sort of like swooshy look versus that spiky look.
Yes, definitely. So I, while I'm keeping to the old art style, I definitely wanted to add, something that spoke, about me, and it just said like that's something that I added. So I wanted to definitely like play up their hair even more, since I already loved like their crazy hair colors and stuff. So I wanted.
I feel like the crazy hair colors made a big impact. But one character who doesn't have a lot of hair on screen that we haven't talked about yet is everyone's favorite murderous 8-year-old. I think she's an 8-year-old Panzer. So Panzer is in a one-piece badger onesie.
Is it a badger? I have no idea what it is, but it's
I think canonically it is a badger. I don't know
where
I learned
thought it was
that.
like a
Maybe
raccoon.
that was on the wiki. Maybe somebody told me that. I might have asked someone, like, I might have asked like Mark or whatever, like, hey, what is that onesie?
Please
like,
do. I want to know.
When you were updating Badger, or I'm sorry, Badger, when you were updating Panzer's onesie, did that have a different sort of set of challenges or circumstances, just because she doesn't have, she just has a very different profile compared to the others?
Right. Well, I mean, they had a little bit of hair, so I played with that definitely. As far as like the Badger character in itself, I just wanted it to scream more like animal, and I definitely think I would have a lot of fun updating like their skins to other animals too, eventually along the line, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, it was super fun to like bump that character up.
Yeah, and then the other animal who is in the game, I mean, maybe animal is a little mean. Is
mean?
The other animal is Ace, right?
Ace, yes.
Ace, who is sort of a little bit of a joke character. I talked about last time on the podcast that when we were demoing Relic Hunters Zero Remix to PAX East, I would do this whole spiel for people where I would tell them like, oh hey, like this is Raph, and Raph will shoot through walls and whatever else, and then you get to Ace and you just be like, please don't pick Ace. Like, Ace is a really bad character. Ace is so bad with all of the guns, and it's like really unfun. And I was sitting there with like a lot of dads and kids, honestly, would come up to play the game and they'd be like, oh, I want to play Ace. And it's like, am I gonna tell the 6-year-old at PAX East not to play Ace? Listen. But anyway, so Ace obviously has a lot of personality that really comes out in his new art with his new puffy vest or whatever.
Yay.
It seems like he kind of got the most top to bottom redesign in terms of the other characters. Where did that come from?
I just wanted his character to shine through more. Like I just wanted him to be more of a badass, because again, watching the promo, he's the ship captain. I just thought he deserved a little bit more of a spotlight, so I wanted him to stand out.
Hey, Ace, you are a good boy. So
He's
says
a good
Ashley.
boy. He's a good horse boy.
Yeah.
I'll say horse.
Okay, so this one might be a little bit of a Sophie's choice. Kat had a very hard time because it was like I was making her choose between her babies. Do you have a favorite of the new skins?
Well, I'm always a fan of like the hot pink hair. So Jimmy was one of them. Jimmy, I'd say, is my second favorite.
Oof, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know.
With the runner-up.
I know.
You're keeping me on my edge, on the edge of my seat with this suspense here. Jimmy is my second favorite.
Yeah. So the first one, I think people can pretty much see it in some of the fun splash art that he has. My character is definitely red. He just sort of screams this Final Fantasy VII Vincent Valentine kind of brooding character with the cloak.
Yeah, and then you also got to draw the commies, right?
Yes, so that's why. So I introed with the creature concept artist, and that's definitely what I did with this. When I was coming up with
there
the
was a lot of
concepts.
talk actually about the
Oh, really?
Red's Kami's in the Discord when we were
Okay.
first debuting the new splash art. Because the
Mm.
Kami's in
Awesome.
game are not something that, are obviously like tremendously well defined.
Right.
And they kind of bark, but like Kami
Mm-hmm.
also means spirit in
Mm-hmm.
Japanese.
The
And so
Japanese
I think
creature,
like the default understanding was like, these are just things.
yeah.
Nobody knows what they look
They
like or
bite,
whatever.
they
Yeah,
growl,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And
they
then
have shells.
in the art for Red, you
Mm-hmm.
actually see like, no, these are like fearsome wolves, right? Was it
Yes.
your decision to put Kami's in Red's new splash art, or did that come from somebody
Yes.
else?
I actually did it optionally. At first, I didn't know if the developers wanted them that defined. I didn't know if they wanted them to keep that sort of like, just basic quality to have people guessing, which is
Yeah.
always fun. But yeah, so before they were these kind of intimidating foo dog lion things that I came up with, I had started just taking those red scary monster heads and giving them horns and playing around with stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just a bunch of tiny pixels, so there wasn't much I could do with them. But then I tried to make them more bug like. I had Red riding these really cool Hercules beetles at one point. And then
Oh
I
my god,
tried
that actually sounds
yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah. There was all sorts of stuff I could have done, but for the sake of time and the production, I wanted to still keep them red and keep them in character. So I went with the, more Asian style foo dogs
Mm-hmm.
sort of things. But
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
that
that
was
makes a
fun.
lot of sense. I get that for sure. Especially because like, this is part of what makes Red such an interesting character
Mm-hmm.
to play. Like, listen, if Ace got a lot of playtime at PAX East, you better believe that Red got a lot of playtime the
Yeah.
second that you mentioned that Red gets to summon little doggos, right, to like fight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's very cool. That's really awesome. All right, so we're coming up on time, but I do want to end
Okay.
up with the secret sauce, right? What's something special about the art in the game that you would want to highlight for folks that they might not like otherwise notice? Are there any
Um,
secret gems, little hints in there that we might not have picked up on yet?
Normally I do hide like little Easter eggs like that. But I decided to play it fairly safe, at least for this first wave of reskins, because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted just to pay homage to like the characters they already had, and I didn't want to like mess with anything that might have translated something differently since they have you know such a following. I didn't want to kind of change anything super drastically. But I'm definitely hoping that if I, am allowed to work on more, reskins and packs of reskins, that I can bring out their personalities more, just through their skins in general. So like have little things on them. I don't know if they have tattoos or,
Oh my god, that would be cool. I wonder.
right.
Well,
I already have
because
a
it could
lot
be
of,
something like like Overwatch, right, or like League of Legends, where you have these
yes.
character skins, but they're not canon, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Bandito Fiddlesticks is not the wow. What a dated reference that
Yeah.
is. I'm gonna reference League skins from 10 years ago,
Hey,
everybody.
league
That's how you
skins
know
are
I'm really
great.
up on it. Yeah. But like
Mm-hmm.
Bandito Fiddlesticks is not the canon version of Fiddlesticks, right? And
Right.
so in a version of Relic Hunters Zero remix where that kind of thing pops up, what are the type of skins that you might want to that you would want to like throw into the game?
Oh my gosh. Well, just trying to keep with a theme, maybe like a space sort of, idea,
Oh
or
my god, yeah.
even vaporwave, like bump up their colors to so it's all pinks and blues and like
Mm-hmm.
crazy yellows. Yeah, so that'd
Cyberpunk.
be
I
fun.
feel like Cyberpunk Pinky would work really well because she has
Yes.
the fists or whatever. You could also do like mecha, like mecha red would be really neat, right? Like
Oh
these
my
little
gosh.
robot,
Yes.
like robot dogs, I guess.
That's an amazing idea. I kind of want to draw that now.
Well, listen, to
Just
any of
super
the
like
Relic
voids.
Hunters fan artists out there, you
Yes.
guys submit your favorite ideas to the Discord, and we'll go from there, I guess, because that sounds like that would be like a really cool way to sort of expand on the game
Mm-hmm.
into the future, if we were to do
Definitely. And
something
wait for
sort of along
Halloween
those
too.
lines. Oh
That
yeah,
would be fun.
Halloween. I feel like
Hmm.
Halloween skins would be really neat because you could do cool stuff with like Panzer's
Anything with
onesie.
Panzer, yeah.
Yeah. Because like the onesie was already a little bit of a costume, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, the ability. Can I just ask, more generally speaking, where did you get your start in games?
Actually, so I went to Savannah College of Art and Design
Ooh, that's a big one.
for video games. Yeah, it's funny because I didn't even know that was a something I could pursue. I thought I was going to be a doctor from like all the way to high school, and then I had an art portfolio interview that that came from SCAD, and I decided to just pursue that, and a lot of the teachers sort of just pointed me along the way and said, keep trying to get into video games. Obviously, it was more pointed towards AAA video games, but
Mm-hmm.
I find the indie group scene just a lot more freeing, and you could just play with stuff like this, like all the characters that we have here in Relic
Yeah.
Hunters Zero.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean you don't have to
I
go
love the
through
freedom.
corporate, right, in order to get
Yeah,
stuff
definitely.
approved. Obviously, you can
Hmm.
make, I guess I would say, yeah, the decision making seems a lot easier
It's
and
a
a lot
lot
freer.
freer. Yeah, and Akupara Games has definitely like taken that and just run with it. Just crazy games all over the
Oh,
board.
is
Just
that a good
awesome.
company? You would say Akupara?
Yes.
What a
Uh,
good. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, that is time. Is there anywhere
awesome.
that the folks at home would be able to find your work that you'd want to highlight? Are you working on any other projects that you want to plug on the cast?
Oh yes. Well, I'm sort of working on it, but I am Cutie Crawlers art online, so you might find like my Facebook group or my Instagram. That's sort of where I've just been posting stuff right now, as far as just fun concept art, video
Mhm.
game related stuff that isn't under NDA.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So for the folks at home, thank you for tuning in. If you want to get in touch with me, with us, you can feel free to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. You can join the Discord. All of these would be, discord.gg/Akupara Games, twitter.com/Akupara Games. And we really look forward to hearing all of the feedback that you have for the recently released Relic Hunters
Yes,
Zero, out now
please.
on the Nintendo Switch. Make sure you pick it up today. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Ashley.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks for letting me be here.